Welcome, everybody. Good morning, and welcome to another edition of the Monday Motivation Spotlight. I'm Lesley Kaplan, welcoming you after a more normal week, if we call it normal, but it's still not normal. It's still an abnormal situation that we're living in. However, a lot more positive, and at least we're catching up on our sleep, if there's such a thing, and getting more sleep than what we had 2 weeks prior to that. So what do? Every week, we have an inspiring guest who is here to motivate us, inspire us, and we get to meet new people, interesting people that are making a difference in Israel, whether they're business owners, nonprofits, or just an individual making a difference. So today, and I'm going to introduce him just after I thank our sponsors. Thank you again, as always, to Nardis Advisors and to Egan & Cohen Insurance. So I'm going to be spotlighting now, instead of me, our guest, who it's the first time I told him we're actually having a guest who is from the outside. Good morning, Yossi. You can see he's rolling backwards and forwards like this on his ball. And in a moment, he's also going to show us his ball and show us what he does and how it can benefit us. So who is Yossi? Yossi Montrose, an Oleh Hadash, 6 years in Israel, from Johannesburg, South Africa, and partially from Pretoria, I understand. So for those South Africans, you'll know where Pretoria is. For those non-South Africans, you may not have heard of it, but it is an interesting place. So Yossi, what does he do? He was doing this prior to making Aliyah, and he does this as well once he made Aliyah. He has unique techniques, which are neuroscience-backed techniques, where he teaches his clients different things using a stability ball, and he's going to be showing us exactly what he does, some of the things that he can do. What are the benefits? Some of them, just to mention, that he told me are improving our posture, calming our nerves, making us more calm, and also making us more confident when we're standing up, because posture is related. So Yossi, welcome to our show. Delighted to have you here. Shoot, tell us a bit about your Aliyah story. What made you, make Aliyah? What made you go to Haifa? And then what brought you into this profession? And we'd love to see you in action, telling us and sharing some things.
Thanks so much for hosting me, Lesley. Really appreciate it. So what brought me to Haifa, Israel? I never thought I would make Aliyah. We moved to Pretoria the last couple of years. Before we made Aliyah, we became friends with the deputy ambassador from Israel. And we became very good family friends. And they kept saying to us, why don't you make Aliyah? You'll love it. Israel, it's what you do. It's so much opportunity. And I was saying, whatever. We love South Africa. We South Africans, we love the biltong, we love the bush. We go to the bush every year, we'll never make Aliyah. And, just like a couple of years of this, it's obviously trickling in our pain. After a couple of years of telling us to make Aliyah, my wife and I decided that after being spent on Pesach there, we're talking about Israel a lot, and that night we kind of avoiding each other, and the next morning we were asking each other, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Should we make Aliyah? And we both said yes, and we opened our file. And we moved to Israel. We moved to Haifa, straight to Haifa. We thought, we wanted coastal. We wanted somewhere that's affordable. We wanted a big enough city with everything. So we were recommended. It was between Netanya and Haifa. So Haifa won out, which was quite interesting. We've had a couple been, from COVID, just pre-COVID, to a couple of wars. And then especially the last Iranian war, which was quite crazy, having a missile. We were watching on our balcony, actually, on Friday night when they started it. My son comes, and says, look, Mom, look, Dad, there's some things in the sky. He's 6 years old, so he didn't understand what it was. So we came outside, and there were literally 100 ballistic missiles. We were watching fireworks until the siren, went off. And it was since then there were multiple sirens every day. And the one hit landed literally a couple of 100 meters from us. We went to see the damage. It was an absolute miracle that no one got hurt. Because the damage of the two buildings, or few buildings actually, they were completely cut out, and washing machine on the floor, cars completely burnt. It was absolute miracle that no one was hurt. But quite scary. And so yeah, so just living through this, like everyone here, like the very stressful times. And with what I do is actually really helps, makes you in control, feel in control, feels, calms you down. And that's what I really help with, a lot of people, with clients of mine from stress, for people who are anxious and who are scared to speak up, or, people who are scared to, even just walk outside for the fear of falling, or a lot of people get injured by running to the miklat. And what I do is I help them just align everything with mind and body, using the exercise ball that I'll show you soon. So that's basically what I've been doing for 23 years. I've shifted from going from purely physical, we're helping people with back pain, with people with reaction strength, balance, all based on the ball. And I realized I had zero confidence. I was bullied. I was wearing hearing aids I was born with a hearing difficulty, and I was wearing hearing aids as a kid. And I was bullied nonstop at the school in South Africa I was in. And my life was a mess. I hated every single second. I had zero confidence. I had no friends. I was isolated. I was scared of literally everything until I found the ball. And I didn't realize over time that's what it did was actually improve such a confidence. First of all, it got rid of my back pain. Second of all, my posture, which was really poor at the time, improved drastically. Improved my my sporting abilities, my strength, my power, and all of that. Besides that, it also improved my confidence, which was quite interesting. And I only really made the shift because what I saw, many years later, even in Israel, that hold on, people suffer, from anxiety, from public speaking, and who get shut down in a way that when people ask them some questions, they shut down. And so this helps them to stay in control. And I have a whole program. I've developed a whole program based on first aligning, getting the posture right. So I'm just going to shift the camera a little bit so you can see the ball that I'm talking about. I'll move a little bit back. So just even sitting on the ball instead of a chair, for example. So what it's doing is it's preventing you from slouching, number one. So it's very more difficult to slouch. So poor posture. And just these small natural movements have blood flow, improve your energy, keep your energy up. And being able to do this at your desk, literally stretching it out, opening up the chest and holding it is so important. And, from stretching it out, because we flex all the time from sitting on a chair, which kills posture, which kills the blood flow, and causes a lot of different issues down the line. And so what this does, it helps, number one, align ourselves from posture. So to get, which is the first thing, by improving your core stability, by doing some different movements on the ball. For example, balancing with your legs up in the air and trying to balance and controlling it with your core, because everything comes from here. So if someone tells you you have bad posture, and you're always gonna you're minded, and for a second you're gonna hold it, and you're not gonna put your shoulders back. But it takes a lot of energy, space to do that all the time, especially when you're giving a talk. You can't just think about, oh, I've got to keep my shoulders back. And so this actually makes it so that you have good posture naturally without having to remember, oh, wait, let me just get my shoulders back. So that's a big part of what I do is a program in terms of just getting your posture, because your body speaks before you even say a word. Your presence, it's if you have poor posture and you're you're hiding, it's you give out that image of just you're not knowing what you're doing as well as what you could, and it just doesn't give a good image really. So what we want to do is we're going to become tall and big, and when you're tall, you're able to breathe better. So your body is able to get more oxygen, so which you're reducing the stress. Again, this all connects to the whole, as opposed to just isolating different areas. So you're able to breathe better, so you can pause, you can think better, you're getting more oxygen in your system, and which is huge. So you're not, if you're just breathing from the chest. your breathing will quicken up, and you'll be more stressed, more issues down the line with health issues. So, and then the second phase is what I do is with confidence, is getting people balancing on the ball. So whatever the level is, so they're kneeling. So from here, while they're talking, and like actually doing affirmative type of affirmative things. For example, I would tell people, with neuroscience, basically, it's repetition and emotion. So while you're balancing on the ball, like I don't know if you know Tony Robbins, they get you to do fire walking. You've got that energy and emotion and that power. And with the ball, it's similar but more practical. So you're not going to go light a bonfire and walk on, coals every day, but you can do this every day on the ball, literally. And it's a lot, it's easier and less mess. But what we do is during the program, we just talk like this while we're balancing, or even whatever level you're on. I'll even get to talk like this, standing on the ball. And what we do is we first of all have natural conversation, and we have like different affirmations. So we're going to say like, I am confident, but you're going to feel it. I have power. I have energy, and you're going to feel it, and you get confidence, and you can, while you're balancing. So obviously in the beginning, it's very difficult to do this. I make it look easy, and especially while talking.
You make it look very easy. I can just imagine. Imagine myself falling off there straight away.
Yeah, so there are different levels. I build you up, so that's part of your core. That's the whole foundation, getting your foundation, strong. But when you have, it doesn't matter from what point of balance you have. When you say that with energy, with power, with confidence, and you feel it and repeat it, that's the whole neuroscience. You rewire your mind as well as your body. So you're not just, it's not just physical where you're training and pushing. But it's also, you've got to think about it, because balance, now I've got to focus. What happens if, I move suddenly, or energy shifts, or people ask me some random question? What happens? Normally you get thrown off. But with this, it teaches you to retain control, pause, take a deep breath, and rebalance. So you can shift your energy in a way that's not going to compromise you. So you can lead with purpose. You can be able to give your speech, or continue giving whatever talk you are with impact, and people will pay attention, because that what wins deals, that what wins promotions, that what wins people in life. But it all starts with improving your core, your posture, your alignment. Because without that, it's very difficult to really improve one without the other. It will crash. You have to have a foundation that's solid, and that's what I teach people with I take them through a 12-week program. I'm sorry, I've gone dark a bit. Okay, I take them through my 12-week program about how to just keep focused or just reset, pause, and continue. And basically, you're owning the room with in any place you are in, and people will be drawn to that, and that's really, really important.
Mm-hmm.
So that's,
tell me, Yossi, what about somebody like what is the average age of your clients? Because someone just wrote me on the side there, like regarding their age, like how can you can expect people even in their 50s or 60s plus. Are any of your clients that age, or they're mostly younger? And what would you suggest a routine if somebody in the age 50, 60 plus wanted to try and do this?
That's a great question. Yeah, so it's amazing for every age. Obviously, the younger you do it, the better. Even 70s, I've had clients. My main target market is between 40 to 60, because they sitting down at a computer all day and their back's in pain, they're poor posture, poor energy, because they spend years and years of sitting by a computer all day, every day, and drinking coffee, and that's nutrition is also a very big part of it. So it doesn't matter. It's amazing how the body's able to heal itself and do it. So if you're 70, I'm not going to give you standing on the ball in that, but I'm going to give you, for example, just sitting on the ball, lifting one leg, basically, even for a second, teaching you to control your body control, doing certain exercises, that will help your core, walking out, for example, holding it. There's a lot of different things that it's amazing what it does, because the ball offers a low impact way of working out. So you are getting all the benefits without hurting your joints, and you're strengthening all those muscles or small stabilizers, which are so important to holding you up in a much better way.
So you're saying that many of your clients are in the middle to even seniors. I mean, do you work with even 8-year-olds plus, or that's really not part of your techniques?
It's not really my focus because it's most of them have retired. But having said that, I have worked with them not on a 12-week program, but just from in terms of improving their back and their balance, because a lot of them fall. A lot of them are very scared of falling, and a lot of them do fall. It's a leading cause of death for elderly people, actually. And balance is something very important to work on, and this teaches you how to just react. Because I had a 75-year-old client coming to me, actually. She couldn't get up the floor before we started. She was on the floor. She needed someone to help her pick her up. And when she started with me, like especially she was in Haifa, just before the Hezbollah started their nonsense, she came to me and she was able to get up on the floor like pretty quickly. And like she told me, like, you know, when they had sirens, she was able to run upstairs with like go without fearing of falling. And it's unbelievable how that helped her. So there's advantages of any age, depending on your goals and purposes. Like it's unbelievable what this does.
Right, and as you were telling me before we started the official recording, you do this also via Zoom with clients. It's not that they have to meet you in person. The majority of your work is via Zoom.
Yeah, exactly. So for my 12-week program, it's all done via Zoom. And
so you would provide us with the ball. Whoever wanted to work with you, you provide us with the ball. Is that it?
So I would send a link because it's a specific ball. Unfortunately, you can't get them in Israel anymore. They stopped supplying. But you know, I send you the Amazon link and you get it through Amazon, and you know, however long it takes, maybe a week or two, and then you know, so I send the proper setup instructions. I send everything from like, you know, questionnaires, setup instructions correctly, and then we start you know, the 12-week journey.
How do you blow up a ball like that?
Sorry, how do you what?
How do you blow it up, or do you receive it from Amazon already blown?
No, it's you have to inflate it, but it's on the instruction. Any inflatable, you know, bicycle pump, or you know, any handheld pump that you can get anywhere. You don't need a special one to inflate it. Pretty easy.
Can you share with us maybe just one or two interesting stories of clients besides what you've already done? Someone that's the ball made a huge difference, or anything from your impact living in Israel that you can share with us regarding your clients?
Absolutely. I've had one client who's, you know, came to me. She was so scared of everything. She had so much anxiety. She was on a lot of medication. She was depressed. She started working out. She said she never lasted more than a week. You know, she was too scared to go to any gym, any, you know, place that was public with people there. And then she started with me. This was an in-person client. But she started with me and she said, like, I've been training with her for about a year. And she was saying that, you know, this is her second the therapy. She's off, like, she's gone down on medication. She's got so confident. She had a promotion. She's lost so much weight. She's less stressed. She's unbelievable, the transformation that she had. She's standing on the ball, actually. From being obese to now, she's looking really good. And so that's from more physical, but also, you know, mental states of mind. From the 12-week program, I've just had a couple of people who are doing it now. Their back pain was terrible. Like, they couldn't move. He was in bed. He bent. He lifted up his nephew at a bar mitzvah or something. He was in bed for like 2 weeks. He could not move. I told him, like, this is exactly, you know, part of what I do is, you know, preventing those issues by strengthening your core. And you know, he was shocked because he was in so much pain. He had taken so much medication for it, and besides that, he told me that he was shy and he was not confident in meetings. And the transformation I've seen from zero pain to be able to now not just book meetings, but to close more deals more confidently. It's unbelievable, all the different types of transformation I see from people using, you know, in my training program.
Incredible. So we have a couple of questions. So one was just, can you expand more? Like, I know you did already speak about it, but how you see this big difference in confidence. One question was that I don't understand how it really improves one's confidence. So can you just expand on that again?
Yeah, great question. Of course. So with neuroscience, so confidence is first of all, when your posture is better, number one, so you'll already feel more confidence. Okay. And so, for example, when you're able to do new things on the ball, like to do movements, so when you're able to, it's very difficult in the beginning, like whatever it is, I'll challenge you to be able to do this or to stand. When you're able to do this, it goes not just in your body, it goes in your mind. So your confidence will automatically pick up because you're getting these dopamine hits, the healthy dopamine hits into your brain and saying, wow, I can do this. What else can I do? And it filters through every single other area. And again, with the repetition by saying, like, while I'm doing that, I am confident loudly. You know, like for me, when I had zero confidence, when I started using the ball, I was scared of pretty much anything. I was scared of talking. I had zero friends. I had no contact with the opposite sex. I was too scared. But when I started using the ball, I was like, the confidence came within me. I was really, you know, it just became me. I was able to do things that I never thought I'd ever be able to do. Skydiving, swim with tigers, you know, get married, you know, have 3 kids now, like talk in public while standing on the ball. So
you know, and Yossi, just to add to what you're saying, it's part of when we feel empowered in one area, then it leads us, as you said, the mindset to be able to do so many more things. That's the one thing. The other thing is, and you mentioned it earlier, you know, if one studies the theory of body language, so, you know, they talk a lot about open movements and closed movements. So what you're expressing and what you said earlier is about using and having open movements. And that's one thing that the ball teaches you. Instead of being crouched up and bad posture, you're opening yourself up, which automatically gives you that confidence and ability that you can do so much more. And you show up differently.
Absolutely. So that's a huge part of it. And then obviously, besides with the different challenges of a balance and being able to master each challenge, it gives you that also, that just adds into that confidence with the repetition of saying I'm confident, I have energy, I have power, you know, and meaning it. It's just the repetition of it. So it just literally rewires your mind. So you'll be able to go up to people that you were scared of, or speak to people that you would like never ever approach, and have a normal conversation, because at the end of the day, we're all human and there's no one better than anyone else. And you embody it. So people will actually sense your confidence. They won't before you even talk. So that's how it just flips everything.
Flips everything, right. Now, a couple of questions too. I know you said you work mostly via Zoom, so that's a modality that you work with people, correct? If somebody lives close to you and wants to come in person, do you do that, or everything's via Zoom?
No, of course, if they're close to me, I've got it set up. I can do it in person, no problem.
Right, but the majority of your work is via Zoom, and you work with people worldwide.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and now in terms of the number of sessions, that was the other question. Do we have to do the 12 session? Is there a reason? I mean, obviously, I assume there's a reason because you're building up, but if somebody wants even 1 or 2 sessions, what are your options in terms of ways of working with you?
I don't just do 1 or 2 sessions, but depending on what your goals are, because I've noticed specifically with the 12 weeks, depending on what your goals are, number one, if you want to develop confidence and you want to develop, you know, better posture, it takes time for the body to adjust. It doesn't just happen after 1 or 2 sessions. You need to invest in that time, the repetition, the daily exercises that I give you. And it shifts over time. It doesn't happen straight away. Like, you know, when you start to balance like this first, you're going to feel wobbly. You're not going to be able to know what you're doing. It's going to be awkward. Nothing's going to work. Like one good meal, if you eat one good meal, doesn't mean you're a healthy meal. Doesn't mean that you're going to be healthy. It needs consistency. But again, depending on what your goals are and depending on what you do, I could do different types of packages of less sessions, depending on like if it's just purely from physical back pain, or if it's, you know, depending on, I have to, you know, speak to you to get a sense of what would fit you best.
Right. You first connect with the person, see what their goals are, what their reasons are for wanting to do this, and then you build the program to see if either the 12 session fits them or if something else.
Yeah,
In
exactly.
other words, you are able to customize it according to the person.
Yeah, but it never works. Nothing will work in 1 or 2 sessions. It's
Right.
a waste
Look,
of time
with
for you.
anything, you know, we have some coaches in the room here. We have, you know, other professions here. We know it's according to the Hebrew words hatmadah, and you know, just staying out there. I forget my English for what hatmadah is. But yes, it's actually it's not just one-off like with anything in life. Yossi, how can people get hold of you? What's the best way to reach you? By email, phone? Do you want to give people your details, or some of those watching the recording?
Yeah, sure. So you can either email me, yossimontrose@gmail.com. That's yossimontrose@gmail.com. You can reach me via, you know, you connect with me via LinkedIn, Instagram, WhatsApp. My details on
Right,
your.
you're on social media, exactly. Yossi Montrose,
Exactly.
reach out. If anyone wants Yossi's mobile number, you know, just send me a message and I'll share it with you as well. Sounds cool. All right, I think I'm on my way to buying this ball from Amazon. It sounds exactly like what I'm looking for. All right, Yossi, wow, thank you. That was definitely interesting. And as I said, something very, very different. We've never had somebody balancing on a ball in one of our Monday Motivation Spotlights. Definitely sounds like something that could interest me. So I thank you for joining us for this Monday Motivation Spotlight. I thank you, Yossi, again for being our guest. And
Thank
of course, to our sponsors, to Nardis Advisors, as well as to Eggert & Cohen. And to all of you, our regulars that show up every single week from week to week, or if you're joining us for the first time, then I thank you as well for joining us. And of course, you can watch if you've just joined or you joined towards the end. We're at the end of this program now. I see someone just joined now. So you're welcome to catch the full recording on my YouTube channels or Spotify, Lesley Kaplan channel or Monday Motivation Spotlight. We've had some amazing other inspiring speakers. So don't forget to subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. That way it'll appear in your feed every time we have a new episode. Thank you again, Yossi. Stay safe. I'm Israel Chai. May we have some safe, quiet weeks. And look forward to seeing you next week on the Monday Motivation Spotlight. Bye-bye.